Here you go.
Can you hear us now? Do you know what? It's so funny. You've got two live TV floor managers here, and it's not working. Two live TV floor managers that are used to working on live television, and we're 7 minutes late, and the audio's not working.
How ironic is that?
No, I know. So, can you hear us? Can you, Son? Can you hear us? It'd be such a shame if she can't hear us, because she looks so lovely, and she's worn orange, especially because Infertility Awareness Week. Son, can you hear us? She'll be with us in a minute. I'm sure she will
be with us in a minute. Anyway, how are you? It's nice to have you. It's nice to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you for ages.
That's because my scuzzy eye was under a lot of stress last week.
No, it was. So tell us, what happened with your eye?
Well, big news, breaking news, Jade. I had an eyelash in my eyeball. Yes.
Of course you did.
Having something in your eye for 3 days, it's quite painful.
Quite traumatic. But you're feeling all right now.
I'm feeling okay now. Thank you for
that. And you are back with a bang, and it is National Infertility Awareness Week. And I just, do you know what? I feel like this year there is more energy behind it than ever before. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, definitely. Which is why I wanted Sonia's link to work.
It is going to work. It's definitely. We'll get it fixed in a minute. Don't worry about that. We'll
Sonia's smiling. Does that mean you can hear us?
No. I love it. This is incredible. I'm not actually quite sure what to do. Right, but I gotta say, it's crazy because she had audio a minute ago, so I'm not entirely sure why there is no audio now. Sorry, guys, that's watching. Bear with.
Oh, I can hear you.
You hear now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Just don't touch anything, Son.
I think there's a really long delay, though.
Do you want to go out and come back in again? Just exit completely, come back in, and I'll let you back in a minute when you're all sorted. And we're just going to talk through National Infertility Awareness Week anyway for a minute. That's fine. All right, let me just kick you out. There we go. And I'm not going to ban her from studio. I've kicked her out of the studio, though. That'd be rude, wouldn't it? So...
The reason I was so excited about Sonia joining us today, and I'm sure she will come back in and join us, because Sonia, so I've known Sonia for years and years and years and years and years. So she's a TV floor manager like I am.
Yeah.
And over the last, it's quite a few years now, she got into kinetic, this is why I wish she was here, kinetic energy and all this energy stuff. And it's just grown and grown and grown and grown. And so you see her using these incredible techniques that she's learned at work as well. And some of the things that she's learned and some of the things she's taught me, I found so useful, which is why I wanted her to come on today and just share some of these insights, because I thought they'd be quite useful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I spoke to Son yesterday and we had a little chat, and actually it was just a little get to know her chat before today, really. And it kind of turned into like about an hour's long therapy session. I mean, we can both chat for England, which I'm sure you'll agree. And it was just her knowledge is so good. And just we were talking about how like your own internal language and just the way you like talk to yourselves, and especially when you're on this journey, it makes you feel like all kinds of crazy. And I think I think even you guys watching at home, we've all been guilty at times of sort of bashing ourselves because our bodies don't do what we want it to do. So naturally, the natural thing to do is like aggression and sort of anger, I guess. So yeah, it was really nice to sort of talk to her and get that perspective on things. So I know that's what she really wanted to come on and talk a little bit about today. But we're kind of going to have to improvise for a minute until she comes back in, because she's not come back into the studio yet. So I reckon that she's probably having Wi-Fi problems, which who isn't having Wi-Fi problems since COVID? I now have 2 internet broadband things coming in to ours, and it's still just average, which is a nightmare. So National Infertility Awareness, tell me what you guys over at IVF Babble are doing right now, Sara. What have you guys been doing this week?
Well, to be honest, we kind of do it every day, don't we? You're doing it every day. We're constantly trying to bring awareness to infertility by talking about it the whole time. It's just that this week in particular is one that everyone seems to just be wanting to do that little bit more. Yeah. I don't know where the orange thing came from, but I know last year everyone started picking up on the orange thing, and I think it was Samantha Bush. Do you know Samantha Bush?
No.
She is an incredible woman in the States. She's married to a big racing driver, and she's a big influencer when it comes to, talking about fertility. And she sent me some orange lipstick last year. See, I wasn't joking when I told you I had orange lipstick. And so that's where the orange thing came from. I didn't read the small print as to why it was an orange lipstick.
What I want to know is why you've not got that orange lipstick on today, actually. So that's what I'd quite like to know.
I'm saving it for tomorrow, which is the official orange day.
Wait to see you with your orange lipstick on tomorrow. It's going to be beautiful. Right, I'm going to try adding Sonia back in, and I'm going to keep my fingers tightly crossed that we can get her back in. I think she can hear me because she's crossing her fingers back at me.
Okay.
Hey. Can you hear us, Son?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yay!
Yes. I mean, I think there's a little delay.
There is.
So we need to be
delay.
She's saging. She's smudging, aren't you? You are smudging.
What is smudging?
Oh, do you know what? Just for a laugh right now. Here we are. Hand in the bra.
So,
that's one side of the bra.
What's happening?
We're getting crystals from our titties. Well, I am. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, I have two key questions at this point. This is why I'm lost. I'm lost because did you say she is smudging?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to know what smudging is, and B, I want to know why you're taking rocks out of your bras, both of you.
Do you want to go first, Son? Because they hear me rambling on every week.
Hello, girls. It's so lovely to be here. Finally, I got in, so I'm hoping the delay is too awkward. So smudging. This is the baby stick that I've got because it's nearly finished. But smudging is a gorgeous ritual. So this is white sage. And the properties of this is that it expels and dispels negative energy. So for me, before I do a ceremony, I cleanse my home, my house, my person. For me, it's a beautiful scent. It's got beautiful properties in it. And for me, I light it. So you can light it with like a match, or at the moment I've got a lighter. And it's just beautiful, and it cleanses the space. So you can cleanse.
I'm going to get mine.
Body,
I feel left out.
just as I was in.
I've just got to say, because from where I'm looking, that looks so dodgy.
It's not. I can assure you that it's white sage. It's beautiful. And you can burn many things. I've got roses that you can burn once they're dried, lavender. And it secretes this lovely, you can see it, the smoke. Oh, and there we go. Jade's got a lovely big stick there.
Wow, it tells you what kind of year I'm having, doesn't it? Let's face it. Look how much of it is gone. Go on.
What does that do?
It's the smoke. It moves the negative energy through your home and like away. So it's used for all different kinds of things. So like I'll smudge my purse and like clean my purse out and make sure that all my cards are around the right way and that my notes are facing the right way with like my biggest notes first in my purse. And it's to make space, to clear negative energy, because how can you expect good, abundant energy to flow to you when you're surrounded by stagnant energy? So you have to open all your windows and doors. And I like have a little like bonfire. Ian calls it a bonfire. He comes in, he's like, oh my God, it's like the gas on fire again. And I'm here like, don't kill my vibe. And he just thinks I'm a bit of a witch, but I'm cool with that. Like, people say that witches aren't good, but back in the day, they were wise women. So I'm here for all of that. And I've got my little stick of sandalwood as well.
You two are so alike.
Say what you feel. Say what you feel.
It's just so. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. So I need to get some of this in my home.
Yeah, you do. 100%. Like, it feels lighter in the house when you do it.
Son, tell us about the other, not rituals isn't the right word, but you hold these are they ceremonies? What do you call them?
Yeah, I suppose the new moon and the full moon ceremonies would be called a ceremony or a circle. I'm kind of in the middle of kind of rebranding or kind of organically flowing into new things. But yes, the new moon ceremonies and full moon ceremonies are just beautiful gatherings where women can connect. I created them in last year. So they were online, so on a Zoom portal. I am branching out and I will be doing them in person really, really soon. So I'm looking forward to that. It's an opportunity for us for the new moon. It's all about new beginnings, new abundance, and putting down your intentions, your hopes, your dreams and desires onto pen and paper to make it a kind of a conscious awareness and a decision for you to decide what you want and how you want to achieve it. In fact, it's not too much about the how, it's just putting the feeling, the taste, the visualization of what you would like to achieve out there into the universe. So the new moon is a really positive, beautiful opportunity for us to be able to do that. And then we allow those thoughts, ideas, those words, and we put them out into the winter ledge for the week of the moon as it creates, it gets bigger and more abundant and more voluminous. We then do a full moon ceremony where we can, if we choose to, burn those letters. And for me, burning ceremonies is such a beautiful, enriching ceremony where we can physically see a release of what all our hopes and dreams are desired in, and the smoke goes up out into the universe and creates into this beautiful space with the earth. And also the embers of your hopes, dreams and desires can go back and penetrate into the ground and become part of Mother Earth again. And I believe that cycle kind of creates and allows us the awareness to bring our realities as a truth.
Oh my God, it sounds absolutely heavenly.
I love the moon. And I love a good letter burn. I love a rage page, and I love burning that bitch at the end of it. I do.
A rage page. I love that. I've never heard that before.
I love a rage page. Yeah, dear universe, I am furious today, and and this is why, and then just burning it afterwards. I think I was saying to you yesterday, wasn't I, Son, that with it being the full moon next Thursday, see, we are so like on this level together. Like, I'm so into anything spiritual. Like, I love it. I'm here for it. I'll listen to it. And it's like the full moon next Thursday. And my friend was like, oh my God, can we come to yours and have a full moon party? Because we like live in the middle of a field. And we've just had our hot tub, we've just got a real nice lazy spa that we bought last summer because we couldn't go to the Maldives. So it was a bit of a running joke. My mum and dad bought me a Maldives lazy spa for my birthday instead. So we put that up for the baby at the weekend, and she was like, can we have like a full moon party where we do our rage pages and get some giant incense sticks and burn some sage and sit and look at the stars in the hot tub? And I'm totally here for that. Like, that just sounds like absolute heaven, because it's all about releasing, isn't it? And I think that ties in so nichely with so many, all different paths of life. We all have stuff that we have to release all the time, but definitely when you're carrying the burden of something you didn't sign up for, I see it every day at the minute. I didn't sign up for this. This is infertility, with it being like Infertility Awareness Week. And it's true. We need to release some of that because we're carrying it around and we're sort of slowing ourselves down.
I think it's already also a really nice thing. You know, when you're going through fertility treatment, it's so clinical. You've got the scans, the injections, the medication, the protocols, the medical talk, and you're in the hands of your consultant, really. You know, there's not really anything you can do in terms of, you know, the medication and whatnot. But this is something really nice that you can do for your mind and your well-being. And I suppose because I've never done anything like this. I've never really, I've never done anything like this. The closest I've come is journaling. And I suppose I've got many pages within my journal, which are my rage pages. And so actually, I think it would have been nice to have gone one step further and done a ceremony with Son where I'd actually written everything down and then had this kind of, I suppose it's if you're doing a ceremony, you feel like you're actually being proactive with what you're doing as well. It's almost like something must happen. I'm going to all this effort as well. I love that idea.
It's such a therapeutic process, the whole process.
You go.
Sorry, Jade.
No, don't apologise. There was a delay. You started, but it hadn't. You go.
It's such a therapeutic process. As you say, Sara, being able to honour yourself, space and time is such a powerful gift that we can give ourselves. And I find the main thing I hear is, I just don't have the time. And it's just cultivating, creating and figuring out how we manage or create that time, make that time for ourselves, because it's so vitally important. We have got to nourish ourselves from within, love ourselves, care for ourselves in order to be the best person we want to be for the ones that we love around us already, you know. And these ceremonies are a beautiful way to cultivate that. You know, for me it's incredibly important from where I started my journey in healing years ago. For me, if I felt held in a really safe, beautiful, sacred space, I was then able to be heard, and I would be able to speak truthfully and lovingly and also freely. And then for me, once that process begins, then the unique, beautiful power of healing can come about. And for me, when I write down, like, you know, I think we're all really big journalists here at the moment. We've spoke about how important on both of your journeys, your fertility journeys, of writing in your journals and those beautiful books that you both have created and got and hold so dearly. When we write, there's such a beautiful energy that we are writing into something. It's in front of us, and it allows us to release while we're writing in those pages, and freely and honestly and without judgment and without worrying that anyone else is going to read it or know what is in those spaces. And that allows us the pure freedom of being completely and utterly honest. And as you say, they can turn into those rage pages. You know, I've also got pages where I'm like F all the way through the page. But then there's also those beautiful opportunities to be able to create. You know, I have this, I feel this, I am smelling this, I am watching my child skip in the grass amongst flowers, giggling. I can hear that, I can smell it, I can taste it, I can feel it, I can see it. And when we write in such a way of truth and of presence, for me, that's a really powerful gift to be able to give to ourselves. And it's kind of the new moon and full moon ceremonies are just an extension of being able to do that.
So for anyone watching that sort of is totally new to this and maybe even new to sort of their infertility journey, as an alternative kind of like therapy, as something more spiritual, what kind of thing would you be recommending? What is there out there aside from just smudging and getting themselves some crystals, or where would you start them with crystals? Like just for someone who hasn't got a clue what we are talking about.
Yeah. I would, like we spoke yesterday, Jade, I would begin with thinking about or feeling into what makes you happy, what excites you, what brings you joy, whether it's going out and looking in the garden, whether you're mowing the lawn, whether you're going skipping or you're swinging on a swing, you know, really bring it back to basics. What excites you? What brings you joy? What brings a smile to your face? You know, I went for a run this morning and I looked up in a tree and I seen a gorgeous nest, and it just caught me unawares. It really got me. I could feel emotion rising through me, and I just thought, that's so beautiful. There's new beginnings there, there's abundance there, there's so much life and love and excitement potentially in that beautiful creation that, you know, if I didn't look up, maybe I would have missed it in this beautiful tree and these, you know, this gorgeous little nest. I've digressed slightly, but I would bring it back to what excites you, whether it's dance, whether it's music. There's so many different avenues. So last year I was able to start attending drumming circles. So that for me is quite exciting. Also dancing is really exciting for me. So whether you put on a track in the morning, one that's really uplifting, a positive, start dancing and doing something like that. And when you start picking up things that excite you, or, you know, if you, now we're allowed to get into shops, if you do pass a crystal shop or a healing shop or anything that catches your eye, you know, I've got 2 crystals here at the moment, and there can be so much chat about, oh, well, this one does this and this one does that, and I do buy into that, I do understand that, but ultimately, what one are you drawn to? What color excites you? What texture makes you feel happy? You know, this is a gorgeous amethyst, and it's very rocky, very raw. And then I've got this delicious rose quartz here, which is quite smooth, but it's also very porous, like in my hand. So I would just suggest that when you see things or what takes your eye, or, you know, I've also got my oracle cards out this morning, whatever you feel drawn to, whatever keeps popping up, you keep seeing, I would go with that. I would just naturally flow into the things that bring you joy, that you find maybe inquisitive, like, oh, what is that? Or, oh, that's another crystal. I'm sure I seen a crystal shop the other day. Really breathe into that and understand that maybe there's a greater say if something is trying to bring something towards you. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, and do you know what, when you say that, sorry if there's a bit of a delay, it probably still is, that the other day, this, like, one of my Insta tribe that I like to call them, like friends that I've never actually met, but I speak to them all the time on social media, like they're my best friends, and one of these beautiful girls messaged me on a video that I'd put up of Ian and Layla dancing the other night. This is slightly different, so I'm interested to see what your take on this is. And I didn't even realise it. I'd videoed them jumping on the trampoline, and there was a little orb, but it was jumping around with them, and it was crazy. And this lovely girl, an orb, right? Okay, so I don't know much about orbs, but I obviously started Googling it, and they say that an orb is like a transition from like a spirit, like a kind of like from like the spirit world. So, and it was like a little light, and I had no flash on my camera, which sometimes they call it background scatter. I think like photographers would call it a background scatter, but it wasn't, because there was no flash or anything like that on my phone. As far as like, it was just like an Instagram story. I was just videoing them jumping around because it made me happy watching them play together. And this little orb was jumping with them. And it was literally right next to Ian, and Ian had Layla, and it was just jumping around with him. And she messaged me and she was like, wow, that orb. And I was like, what? And I went and looked at it, and it made me feel emotional, like just looking at it. And but yeah, I don't know what your take on orbs is. I don't know if you have anything to do with that, Son. Maybe you can shed some light without no pun intended. This delay is so
I'm absolutely fascinated by that. I haven't experienced anything like that at all. So for me, as soon as you said that, I could feel my solar plexus just like sparkling. And, you know, I suppose an experience like that is incredibly personal. So however you receive that is how you need to know and respect and kind of love into that space.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I've just had one of the girlies ask in the comments, she said, where can she buy some sage from? So I've got like a little witchy shop near me where I get mine from, but you can buy it online. Where do you get yours from, Son?
I'm in a community of women around here that actually create and make their own sage. So I get fresh stuff from my ladies, which I feel very, very privileged about. But yeah, as you say, online, there are so many opportunities online to buy them. So have a little jump on Amazon. Now that I've said that, I feel like there are other online stores available. And just get what you feel into. You can buy really big bundles, or you can buy really small bundles. They can come with stones and crystals and starting packs.
I tell you what, girls, anyone that watching, I've got a couple of ladies that I've bought from, like, that are like home-based businesses on Instagram. One lady down Cornwall who's lovely, and I've got like a girl on Instagram that I use called Girl Love Luna, and she hooks me up with all. I've got crystal trolls, crystal ponies, like sage. I've got loads of stuff like that. So what I'll do is I'll link them in the description of this video on the YouTube channel afterwards, that you can go and check out if you want to. Like, I'm no way paid to link them at all. It's just that they're the people that I use, and then you can go on and sort of navigate your way that way. Obviously, with it being Infertility Awareness Week, one of the lovely ladies, Kirsty, is actually sort of waiting in the window. In the window? That's not what you say. What do you say? Waiting in the what? In the wings. She's waiting in the window.
In the wings, so yeah.
She's waiting in the window.
In the wing.
Oh, is it my internet?
Backstage?
I feel like I'm carefully now. Yeah, she's backstage. She is. And Kirsty is one of my friends. She's been on an incredible journey so far, and we had a couple of ladies that were going to come on today, but one couldn't make it, unfortunately. And Kirsty's just going to come on and talk to us a little bit about her journey so far, just to give you sort of an insight into somebody else that's on their journey and why she thinks that raising awareness is so important. So I'm going to try and bring her on now, and we can all have a little chat. Hello. Are you muted, hun?
Hi.
Hello.
I was muted.
How are you? All right?
Yeah, Laura's kicking off, so I put it on mute.
Oh, okay, no worries. Layla's at nursery today, thank the Lord, because we'd get no quiet otherwise. So yeah, Kirsty, just tell us a little bit about your infertility journey, because you've got babies as well, haven't you? So
Yeah.
Just tell us about your journey.
So mine started at about 18, so I've always obviously had funny periods, just didn't think anything of it. And I just stopped having periods at all. So when I met Andy, I'd said to him about it, and he was like, you should probably get that checked out. So I did, went to the doctors, the doctor phoned me. I remember this day like it was yesterday, because I worked at a nursery at the time, walking out a nursery, got a phone call, and they were like, oh, it's just the doctor about your results, just to let you know you got PCOS, so tickle throat, and you're going to really struggle to have children if you ever will. And I was like, oh, okay, so I need to come in? No, when you're a bit older, just come back, but you probably won't. So, and I was like, oh, okay. That was sort of it. And I remember just going home absolutely sobbing from work. Poor Andy didn't know what to do. So I was like, well, I'm only young, like, we can wait a bit. But I fell pregnant naturally within 9 months with Lexi. Perfect pregnancy, fine, good labour, quick. So with it, we thought, right, we'll wait a bit, waited a year, and then we sort of would try again. Nothing for about 1.5 years. And then we started falling pregnant, but we just miscarried like 10 times. 10 times was before law. And we got to 11 weeks the latest.
Oh my God.
So you've obviously gone on to have law, haven't you? And
Yep.
Obviously we could go back and talk about everything that's happened in between. But you've been struggling for you, like a third baby, wouldn't you? And you've been really struggling again to now, haven't you?
So after I had law, because I've always wanted 3, I said that's what I've always wanted. Do you know what I mean? That's the 3 for me. So after law, we didn't go on anything. We was like, no, it happened. You're most fertile after having a baby, so let's go for it. And then nothing. I went to the doctors last year, and I got a phone call from the doctor to come in, And I'd asked, do I need to bring anything? No, it's just a routine. So I went in and I had a horrendous time. Like, it was just horrendous. So I got told, really sorry, you can't have any more, you're done. You should be really lucky that you've got the 2 you have.
And you can't have any more children, that's what they said?
Yeah, that's it, you're done. You can't support a pregnancy. You knew you was on a time limit. I see women like you every day and they have no children, so maybe you should just sort of be thankful for what you have. Got told. But then I fell pregnant in the October with twins. So, but the whole time I was like, something's not right, I was going to the hospital and they was like, no, everything's fine, like, you're fine. Then I went for a point, I was nearly 9 weeks, and they was like, oh, you've lost twin 2, which I knew something was wrong. And they was like, oh, but there's nothing we can do because we don't want to affect baby 1. Sorry, someone's at my door. And then they give me some pessaries to take and then told me back in 2 weeks. I went to Tesco's and I just bled, and then I was rushed to hospital. I lost the other twin that night, and then they done nothing really. And then I fell pregnant straight away again, and it was a chemical pregnancy. And then we've just been to Salisbury Fertility Clinic to out, darling. Find out. Sorry. To find out what they can do, but they've said they think it's taking up mine and Andy's genes that just doesn't mix. So we'd have to have IVF with this genetic sort of thing. So I have to go to London to have that. But we're just going through more testing to rule out thyroids, clotting, because they never even tested me for that. And the genetic test to see if we can have that. If not, he just sort of said you can carry on and just hope you get a match like your other 2.
God, I mean, you just haven't really been cared for, have you? I mean, how dismissive of your doctors
I've been fobbed off so many times. It's horrendous.
I have chills. I've heard that story as well so many times, but it just, that's right. It's because what you said, Sara, she hasn't been cared for. That's what got me then.
To be through so many miscarriages, it's not just like physically draining, but emotionally draining.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced a miscarriage because I never really got far. Well, eventually I got pregnant, but all my IVF rounds, that I never got to the point of even making an embryo. But I can't. I just, for me, it just sounds such an epic scale of heartbreak. How did you get through all that?
Do you know what? I was so determined that I was like, I'm having another baby. Like, so many people said to me, like, look, you need to stop. Your mental health's going to be bad. You're draining your body. But I was like, no, like, I give myself 3 days. So I give myself 3 days to cry, be angry. And then after let's do a plan. Let's start again. Let's do the ovulation sticks. Let's do the vitamins. That we can do it. Like, I'm having another baby. And that's how I sort of got through it. However, it was definitely the wrong thing to do now. So after the twins, I just had like a very bad, not breakdown, but I cried a hell of a lot. And I realised that I hadn't dealt with before because I was so determined. So I'm slowly dealing with that, just talking a lot more. Like, I'm not a massive talker like my friends and stuff. I wouldn't just go sit and talk to them about it. And even my husband. And it's only now that I've started to open up about it a lot more. But I just give myself 3 days and just got on with it.
Do you think maybe that was like, because it's not similar, just like this, not the circumstance aren't similar, sorry, but I mean, You know when you're trying for a baby and you have that vicious cycle all month, don't you, where you have your bleed and you're absolutely devastated, you're gutted, you've got another failed cycle, and then it comes to ovulating, and then you talk yourself into, well, actually it's another month, we can try, like, why not, this month's going to pass anyway. And then you start talking yourself into, oh, like my boobs, and you overanalyze every single thing with your body, and then you start to think that maybe you're pregnant, and it's that cycle, isn't it? But the proactive part of that cycle is the trying for a baby and the ovulation test and everything, and doing everything by the book, and then over analysing your symptoms. You feel like you're actively doing something, so you don't have to deal with the grief behind actually what you're mentally and physically going through. Do you think, like, mate, that's what kept you going? Like, it was almost like your adrenaline.
100%, and I would like make sure I was always doing something, so having people around or going out at the weekend, doing something with Lexi. I was constantly busy all the time, keeping myself busy to get through it. But obviously lockdown, when it happened with the twins, you couldn't do that. Like, I was just sat in my house, 4 walls, with Christmas, bleeding, and I was sort of like, wow, like I can't just go see my friends and chat it out, or I can't just go to the fair with Lexi or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I was stuck. And I think that's what brought everything back, where I hadn't dealt with it because I just kept myself busy. It was sort of like, wow, I need to slow down.
So what did you do? You said you cried a lot.
I cried a lot, like a lot. And then I done a video, actually. I just done a video of explaining how I felt, and I sent it to all my girlfriends. I sent it to my husband, my mum, and I said, this is how I feel. Like, because people are like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, but I'm not fine. Like, so this is how, and they just sort of understood a bit more. All my friends never really had miscarriages or struggled with pregnancies. They didn't understand where I was coming from, so they couldn't support me. So when I sent them this video, they said it was probably the hardest thing they've ever watched, but they understood more where I was coming from, because they were sort of like, I don't understand you. You have Lexi or you have Law. Like, what, do you know?
What a genius thing to do.
Yeah.
You actually do
the idea.
It's such a good idea. Such a good
idea.
It was amazing. I cried watching it. It took me a long time to watch it. I cried a lot.
Yeah, and do you know, Son? I'm thinking of Son. Son, you're still with us, aren't you? Yeah, you haven't frozen. Because Sonia has always said to me, "Don't ever hold back tears." Like,
oh, she said that to me yesterday.
Sonia calls herself a crier, don't you, Son? Oh, I can just hear seagulls.
Yeah.
That's it, my father.
So funny though.
No. Oh damn! I think Sonia's Wi-Fi is so bad. I might have to pick up with Sonia. Like, I might have to do a live with her at some point, because I used to always be not frightened of crying, but embarrassed of crying.
Oh, I love crying. I cry at everything.
I mean,
normally it makes you feel weak, I found, but now I'm more embracing the crying.
Yeah,
it made me feel very weak. Like, come on, like you're stronger than this. But actually, you're stronger for crying and getting it out, I find.
That is so true. Oh God, Sonia was back in. Oh God, she'd be like high-fiving you.
She's gone off because she's going to try and come back in a minute. I know it, but maybe we should jump on a little live, like, mate. It's her internet connection, isn't it? So hopefully that'll fix itself now. But yeah, Cassie, there's so much that I want to talk to you about your journey. Where this genetic testing that they wanted you to go to, which I'm presuming is so you don't suffer any more miscarriage, because they'll know if the embryos are viable or not. So presumably you could go through a whole round of IVF, have all your embryos tested, and then all like not be chromosomally what they want them to be, if that's the right way. Apologies if it's not the right way. I'm not medically trained. What are they going to pay for that? Is that funded for you, or is that something you got to fund yourself? Are you happy?
No, it's not funded, and so it's really quite expensive as well. Like, we knew IVF was expensive. We was thinking around the 10 grand mark, like for a round, but this is around 16 grand without them putting it inside you. This is just to take the eggs, test them, and then you have to go and have something else after. So they do a frozen cycle, and they go away, test them, and then about 3 weeks later you go back and then they put them in you.
Oh my God.
So depending on your plan, they said when I phoned them around 20 grand for one cycle, but there's a risk. So I could have this cycle, they could take say 30 eggs, and every egg and sperm don't match. It won't work. I could just have bad chromosomes in all my eggs. So that's the risk you take of going through this one.
20 grand. I mean, who has 20 grand anyway? And you're right, it's such a gamble. And they say even if you have an embryo that is tested and they go, yeah, okay, that's great, it's nothing is ever guaranteed. I think it's the biggest gamble you'll ever take.
And they can't even guarantee that you don't miscarry because it may not implant. Like they said, it's just one of them things. That's the risk you have with doing this. Anyway, with any IVF, let alone this IVF where they have to test it.
So where is your head at now? Because I'm quite quiet for me. I talk a lot.
So
usually.
right now I'm sort of in a place where I'm like, right, let's just get, so this afternoon I've got to go for my thyroids and that tested, bloods. So I'm like, we'll get the testing done and then we'll go from there, just tiny steps at a time.
Wow.
That's the point, isn't it? Just making sure they test for everything.
Yeah, and we're going to definitely get another second opinion from somewhere else. So then we know, right, that's definitely it.
So you had to battle to get here, didn't you? Let's have it right.
Oh.
It was like it's kind of like a bit of a miracle that you stumbled across that, because the hospital didn't give you that information, did they? At all? Like
when I spoke to the fertility doctor at Salisbury, he said to me, scrap everything you know, because they have no idea what they're talking about. They were telling me that it was my blood that was attacking the baby because I got rhesus negative. They were saying, oh, it's the polycystic ovaries, all this through miscarriage. And he was like, scrap it. He was like, that they don't know what they're talking about. They told me my levels were so low that this is why I wasn't falling pregnant. And he was like, but you're ovulating. Like, they're ovulation levels, not levels for pregnancy. So they were telling me all these different things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is wrong with my body? Like, why can't I do this? I'm supposed to be born to do this. And then I go to him and he's like, no, that's wrong. They're telling you wrong. That's not what's happening. You are ovulating. Your levels, they're not high. There's like, but they're okay. They're 29.2 for ovulation. And that's okay.
So that doctor that's just saying, that's advising you now, is that the one that you're thinking of going to in addition to having a second opinion?
So no, he doesn't do that. So he's in Salisbury and they don't do that IVF there. I'll have to go to London to have that one. So we spoke to someone in London. We got to have a consultation with them. But he was the one that said, look, this is the way around it. Either keep going and hope you get one, or go for this IVF.
And when he says keep going, what does he mean by keep going? What, trying naturally, or
trying naturally and miscarrying and just hoping they get together? Is it because you've done it before, you can do it? It's just if you can keep putting up with that.
So were you ever at any point, and again, this is a girls' chat, I feel like I have to say this because I'm not medically trained, and none of us are medically trained, but when you have IVF, you're given progesterone to support the pregnancy, because one of, they say, the most common like causes of miscarriage is low progesterone. Like, you need progesterone to sustain a viable pregnancy. So we're given pessaries for progesterone when you have IVF. Were you never, during one of the 11 the initial times around between having Lexi and Law, were you never ever offered any progesterone? That was never looked into?
No. It wasn't looked into the last appointment when I was pregnant with the twins and I'd miscarried one. And the nurse was so rude to me. She was like, why haven't you had these? And I was like, I didn't even know about them. Well, you've had this many miscarriages and you should be having this. You should be coming in. And she really told me off like it was my fault. And I was sort of like, I didn't even know you was allowed this. And she was like, well, you should. She's like,
yeah, sorry, hon, I was well up for 11 miscarriages.
I was like, sorry, hon, I'm not a doctor.
Oh, also, can I just say the word should, Like, eliminate the word should. It's a bad word. It doesn't do any good. It doesn't do any good.
It's so, I was really lucky in a sense with my husband though. Like, he's so supportive, and when we miscarried, he was like, look, let's do whatever you want. Like, if you want to do IVF, we'll do IVF. Like, we will get around it. So I'm really lucky in that sense. Like, he will do anything I want just to make sort of me happy. He's like, because we can't keep going what we're doing. Like, it is draining on both, and it does not affect your marriage, because it's not affected our marriage in a bad way, but it has tested us. But it's also brought us so much closer. If that makes sense.
How do you feel about yourself and your body? And like, are you down on yourself, or do you feel strong? Do you feel proud of yourself? Because I was going to say should then, but I'm not going to say should, because we're not supposed to. But do you know what I mean? How's it affected the way you love yourself?
Oh, a lot. I think I don't look at myself the same anymore as what I used to. I blame myself a lot, I think. Like, I think, why can't it just do the right thing? Like, why does it have to be my body? Like, I used to love myself, but now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I'm starting to hate myself, because I'm like, just do it, if that makes sense. But we're going to build that back up slowly.
Son, you are with us. I feel like this would be the perfect opportunity for you if you can.
Oh, it's so infuriating. Do you know what I'm going to try and do something with Son. If we get her on a 3-way at some point, some other time, because Son has this incredible way of changing the way. Oh, look, I can just hear her laughing. If I don't speak for a minute, Son, let's see if you can respond. Anyone hear the seagull? No. But what I was going to say is Son has got some like brilliant techniques on taking away the blame from yourself, because it is so easy to blame yourself.
Oh, 100%. I remember at the first start, I used to think, I hope there's something wrong with both of us, because then at least I won't feel so bad. And then I was like, no, actually, I don't want my husband to feel like that. And then when it was just me, I was like, oh, it's just me, which made it worse, because then you sort of prepare yourself, maybe it's both of us and it won't make me feel so bad. And then you feel guilty, and then you're like, oh my God, it is just me. Like, why? I remember before we had Law thinking, like, if we can't have any more kids, like, it's okay, like, you don't have to be with me. And he was like, I'm not with you because we have kids, I'm with you because I love you, like, I'm never going to go anywhere else. But I remember thinking that deep into it, thinking, God, like, I can't give him that anymore. Do you know what I mean? But he's like, no, I don't care, I just want you.
Kirsty, what would you say to anyone watching that is going through or has gone through a miscarriage or a loss? You know, what would you?
Don't be ashamed to talk about it. Like, talk about it, because it helps. If you don't talk about it, you will get to a point where you explode, and it's hard coming back. Like, talk about it. Don't be afraid. Like, I know it's such a taboo subject. Oh, but you were only 4 weeks, or you were only 9 weeks. It doesn't matter. As soon as you get that positive test, and if you bleed, like, it's still painful. Like, it's still painful. So talk about it freely. And if people feel a bit uncomfortable about it, find someone that's not. Like, there's so many people out there you can talk to about it.
Amazing. No, I mean,
like I said, I can't get my head around. I can't get my head around it. Yeah.
We normally talk a lot more. We've normally got so much more to say.
I know you're very quiet.
And do you know the funny thing? Not the funny thing is the crazy thing is I've heard this story so many times, but I don't know if I'm blown away by your strength to come on and talk about it so open and so raw, and just to be so authentic and so honest, like, and just the fact, just that you're not the only woman that goes through this, and I think that there is a bit of a lack of support. I think that's evident that there is.
Someone when I was going through it that was speaking about it, because if there was, it would have made me feel a lot better that I'm not alone, because it's such a lonely feeling. You feel alone, you feel like you've done it. Oh, is it because I had that one cup of tea too more? Is it because I'd eaten dinner and I cooked something right? Or is it because I went on the elevator? Like, stupid things. So if I had heard that at points when I'd gone through them, it probably would have helped, because it's such a lonely thing. And so many people have it, but you just don't know because people don't speak about it. And it's traumatizing. Like, it's not a very nice experience. It's not just like a period, if that makes sense, which a lot of doctors make it out to be, and it's not.
Can I ask a really naive question? Does it like, how does it physically feel pain-wise?
Contractions, like labor.
But it can go on for days, can't it?
Yeah, it can go on for a long time. So with the twins, mine went on for 24 hours of pain. When I went into hospital, my heart rate was 124 through the pain, very high. And it's not just the contractions. Do you know when you have a baby and you push, you have that feeling constantly with contractions, so you need to push something out. But obviously when you're given birth, naturally that baby sort of helps to push out, but this doesn't. So it's harder to come out, so it goes on for longer. You're sick. I threw up a lot with the twins, like just threw up. I was dizzy, I couldn't hold myself up. It was horrendous. Like, it's not, a lot of people go, oh, it's just like a period, and that frustrates me so much, because I think, no, it's not just like a period. If you have never been through that, then you can't say it's like a period, because it's not a period. So this what makes me so angry when people are like, oh, you're only 4 or 5 weeks. It doesn't matter. There's something still coming out of your body that you physically have to push out. Do you know?
Do you know what, Kirsty? You said that, like, you think differently about yourself having had all these miscarriages, but I've only met you today, and what I am seeing is the most incredible woman.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously, you're the way you speak and the way you're so open. I just think you're brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I can't even speak. I'm so sorry.
Oh, babe.
And do you know what I'd love to do? I'd love to have a chat with you again and just talk. If you would like properly just talk the whole thing about experiencing a miscarriage, because I've never heard anybody explain it.
Yeah.
Me either. Sorry.
Sorry, my dog's going mad.
Sorry, I felt so overwhelming.
And then when we get Sonia back, because I want you two to connect, because like I said, I want Sonia to help you see what we're seeing.
Yeah. Oh,
which
yeah, that'd be nice.
Like, bow down. Amazing woman.
Yeah, you are incredible. I don't even think you realise, just by this conversation today, people that listening to this will take so much comfort from like you being so open and honest, and probably a lot of validation as well, because like you say, I have heard people say it's just like a period, and obviously it's not, and
no,
obviously people experience things differently, but for those that are experiencing what you're experiencing, I just it's just, I'm being so naive. Like, I just imagine that it just like you just have a period, and obviously you grieve for that pregnancy that you thought you had, which is horrendously painful anyway. But think that everything that you've just said that you experienced, and to think that you've experienced that over 10 times. I have no words.
The worst one for me is because I obviously miscarry a lot. So when I do a pregnancy test, it comes back positive. I do one twice a day for however long until like I'm past a certain point. And you know by a pregnancy test when you've miscarried because you do them. And so they get darker and then they start getting lighter. So you sort of know what's coming. And that's what I do a lot. So I know that a lot of women out there do it. But they don't say they do it because people say, no, do one and leave it. But as someone that's had a lot of miscarriages, naturally, I do that because I'm like, I need to know because I need to prepare myself. And deep down, you're like, no, it's not lighter. I know it's not lighter when you match them or you think, no, it's definitely not. But it is, if that makes sense. Mm. Like hundreds. I must have spent so much on pregnancy tests. I'm like, oh, another one. It's like obsessive.
Oh God. Well, I just want us to all meet in person desperately. I want to get some of Sonia's sage. And what do you call it, Son? Smudge it around the room.
It's so funny because she nods away, and every time you talk to her, she doesn't move.
No, I know. We just hear the seagulls again.
I feel like I need that laugh right now. I feel quite exhausted. I feel like I need a bit of sage right now. Yeah.
Oh gosh. So when is your Son? When is your next circle? Maybe can you write it in the comments? Jade, it's like you're smoking a great big doobie.
No, the funny thing was as well, and this has nothing to do with fertility related, so I totally apologise, but when I was waiting for you to jump on in the backstage earlier, I asked Alexa to put on Shy Guy because I heard it on the radio the other day, and I was like, I haven't heard that for ages, and she put Shaggy on, and it was like proper like Mr. Bombastic, and I just feel like I'm sat here with my biff now. This is never going to make daytime TV. This is definitely not.
But yes, put it in the comments on when your moon circle is.
Yeah, I'd love to get involved with that moon circle. 100%. I love the moon. I've got a telescope. Oh, that was a treat.
We just heard Son's voice.
Oh my God, I'm so gutted that you're not on here properly today. I'm absolutely devastated. But maybe we could get on and do like a little live or a video, or maybe like a Zoom call. That might be better, and record it and then maybe like download it and upload it or something like on all the platforms everyone can see.
Yeah.
Well, I would actually just like to listen to how Sonia would perhaps coach is probably not the right word. Talk to you, Kirsty, about your journey and sort of how she would want to support a woman like yourself that has gone through such trauma, because that is what it is.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that, and I'm sure everyone that's heard this call today and everyone that's going to watch it over the next couple of weeks will agree that that is something that they would love to be able to listen into, because you can take so much from that. Because I know so many people, and I've got so many friends, you being one of them, Kirsty, that have gone through miscarriages and multiple miscarriages, and I just feel like we've shone a whole different light on it today, like from a whole different angle. And even hearing that has made me feel like I can support and love and just listen and hold a space for someone that is going through that in so much more of a positive way than what I would have before today. So I feel like overwhelmed with gratitude that you've come on, because I feel like I've grown and changed as a person today just from listening to that person. Those tears were raw emotional tears like that. I couldn't hold it back. I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't.
Sorry, Son. I shouldn't apologise for crying. Sorry, Son.
Yeah, don't apologise. But I really would love to just hear like ask you loads of questions, Kirsty, on another chat about this camp. You know, like I said, I haven't heard anybody speak so honestly. Maybe because I haven't actually ever asked anybody so openly.
I think it's just took time. Like maybe if you'd asked me a couple of years ago, I would have never responded like that. But I'm learning more to open up about it and be completely honest, because if someone had been like that when I was going through them all, it probably would have made me feel a bit better, because it's like I said, it's lonely. It's such a lonely thing. You blame yourself and you don't understand why. And it's so played down. Like, it is so played down. You don't have any help. Oh, pardon you, Law. Did you hear that?
Let it out, babe. Let it out.
It's so played down. So when you're going through it, you think you're abnormal, because you're like, well, I thought it was supposed to be like they say, a period, or why am I feeling so sad about it when it was only this many weeks? But it's normal to feel like that. It is absolutely normal to feel like that. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to cry. And you're allowed to be a bit bitter sometimes. It's okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's normal. But being told you're not supposed to feel like that because you were this many weeks, and it wasn't really technically a baby. It was a baby to me.
Kirsty, thank you so much, so much for coming on today. And I'm sure we'll have a little chat in a minute about you guys obviously getting on a call and stuff. But I just want to, obviously, from all of us girls here at the Fertility Women, just say thank you so much for coming on and being so honest.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, my darling.
See you later.
And Son, oh, look at her. She's just so brilliant.
No, but she's not going to talk to you. But thank you, Son. We're going to get you a better Wi-Fi connection. I'm going to get you a dongle, and then we will talk again. I can hear like my echo onto you, I think.
Thank you, girls. Thank you, lady.
We'll do something soon.
Yeah, we definitely will. Oh, I wish that internet connection had worked out better. She's so lovely, isn't she?
We'll figure it out. Maybe we can just do something on like a live Insta or something.
Yeah, I feel absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, but yeah, that was amazing. I need Kirsty. I want to ask Kirsty more questions. But look at us, we've done an hour.
Yes, guys, thank you so much for watching. We're going to let you go. Please do leave in the comments if anything you would like to hear from us. If there's anyone in particular you would like to come on the show, then let us know, because obviously we want to be bringing stuff to you that you want to hear and you want to see. But we will let you go because it is over an hour, and I'm well aware that you've probably got glorious sunshine to go and sit in shortly. So thank you all for joining us. Sara, anything you want to say?
No, just yeah, and as always, just get in touch if you need us. I think that's the key.
And keep sharing all of those posts for Infertility Awareness Week, because you do not realise the people that it falls in front of that needed to see what you've got to say.
Well said.